You won't believe this, the Thai special forces are taking down criminals with a crazy tactic using a massive bamboo pole. One guy clings to the tip while his teammates push from behind, letting him scale vertical walls like he's walking on flat ground. It's a wild move that requires perfect teamwork, so slick even the American SWAT team feels embarrassed watching. Today's a joint training session between US and Thai special forces, but SWAT leader Hondo has a bigger mission in Thailand. A dangerous new drug is flooding Los Angeles, hidden in green tea packets, and the cartel behind it is holed up on the Thai border. Hondo meets up with Joe, his old friend in Thailand's anti-narcotics unit, for help. Joe says the cartel was busted a month ago, and its leader, Za, was killed in a raid, but Hondo insists on checking the cartel's old drug lab himself. Big surprise, the cartel's back in business at the same damn spot. They're pulling the oldest trick in the book, hiding in plain sight, betting the most dangerous place is the safest. Even crazier, the boss is none other than Za, the guy supposedly killed in that raid. Joe realizes they screwed up. The body they found was burned to a crisp, identified only by a tattoo. They got the wrong guy. While Hondo and Joe are sneaking around, a cartel lookout spots them. It's like kicking a hornet's nest. A firefight erupts, and Hondo, an outsider with no gun, has to run for his life alongside Joe. They barely escape by using a fallen teammate's body as a distraction. But they're deep in cartel territory now, no guns, no backup. They get cornered on a small bridge. Their only way out is to jump into the river below. Lucky for them, the cartel's goons are lousy shots, spraying bullets everywhere but hitting nothing. Hondo and Joe float downstream and drag themselves ashore, soaked and battered. Their radio and phones are waterlogged, their guns down to one bullet, and the nearest safe zone is 30 miles away. Things get worse. Joe's wounded from the escape. With no other choice, they hole up to treat his injury. But Za's goons are relentless, tracking them down like bloodhounds. Hondo and Joe try to steal a car, but it takes forever to start, and they're spotted. Thinking fast, Hondo snags a phone from the car and calls for help, only for the battery to die mid-sentence. Then a kid from the cartel wearing a Lakers jersey, of all things, catches them. Hondo drops to his knees, trying to mime for mercy since they don't speak the same language. The kid, that turns out to be their saving grace. Through Joe's fluent Thai, they learned That's brother is being held hostage by Za, forcing That to work for the cartel. That begs Hondo to come back with reinforcements to save him and his brother. Hondo doesn't hesitate, he's in. That tricks the cartel to snag a car key. Hondo and Joe make a break for it, but the cartel's hot on their tail. In a hail of gunfire, Hondo coolly shoots out the tires of a pursuing vehicle and peels out. They reach a village, where Hondo trades his prized watch for a local's phone to call his team. Finally, SWAT and Thai forces launch a raid on the border, but without Hondo's exact location, they're stuck searching blindly. After finally getting through to their team, Hondo and Joe activate their tracker and head straight for a nearby village on the border. But the area's just the right size for trouble, and in no time, the cartel's goons spot them. With Joe battered and too weak to fight, they're out of luck and out of options. The pair's hauled to a desolate cave, the secret hideout of drug lord Za. For a ruthless bastard like Za, Hondo knows falling into his hands is a death sentence. But Za doesn't dirty his own hands. He hands the job to That, with a heart too good for this world, can't pull the trigger. He's desperate for Hondo to save him, but his hands won't move. Za's livid. All that time grooming That, and he's still a coward. He decides to handle it himself. But just then, gunfire erupts at the base of the mountain. Turns out, SWAT reached the village and found no sign of Hondo except his watch. After grilling the locals, they pinpoint Za's hideout. Scaling the peak takes a few minutes, though. Za orders his crew to wipe out SWAT while he makes a break for it. Hondo's not about to wait for death. Seizing the chaos, he snatches a gun from a guard, ready to go down swinging. Za grabs That and bolts. In the scuffle, one of Za's men knocks Hondo down. Weirdly, the guy doesn't shoot, just beats him bloody and runs. Hondo's lucky to be breathing. Right then, his SWAT team storms in. Fueled by adrenaline, Hondo grabs a gun from a teammate and charges after That. The cave's a damn maze, easy to get lost in. Za's probably long gone with That. But Hondo doesn't quit. Regrouping, he teams up with Thai special forces and tracks down Za's secondary hideout. There, he finds a familiar Lakers jersey that's left on purpose. There's a strange symbol scrawled on it. Hondo's stumped, but the Thai team cracks it instantly. The symbol points to a bar right next to a tea shop, Za's front for drug deals. To keep things quiet, SWAT sends Tan to scout the place, scoping out the guards and Za's position. Tan delivers. He spots Za mid-deal with a buyer, Thet and his little brother in tow. One surprise raid, and it's game over. But then Thet's brother sees Tan and screams like he's seen a ghost. The kid's outburst alerts the cartel, forcing SWAT into a firefight ahead of schedule. Most of these drug runners are just regular Joes, untrained with guns, spraying bullets wildly. SWAT mops them up fast, rescuing Thet and his stubborn little brother in the process. Za, holding Thet hostage, bolts to the docks to meet his crew's getaway boat. The boat shows up, but when his goons spot the cops locked and loaded on shore, they peel out without him. Za's livid, screaming into his phone, but no one picks up. That's now his only bargaining chip with the police. SWAT can't risk a shot, it's a stalemate. Then, out of nowhere, Hondo breaks the deadlock with a single line.
Be brave! Trust me!
Those words spark courage in Thet, giving Hondo the opening to keep his promise. He saves Thet, wrapping up their Thailand mission. Why SWAT fire on Black Betty, their beloved armored truck? SWAT faces a new crisis. A crew of robbers hits a company not for cash, but for its secret escape route. They herd the hostages into a meeting room and brazenly call the cops themselves. Minutes later, SWAT rolls in, but the sweep is too clean. No crooks, no injuries, just like the 911 call said. Something's off, and they know it. While scratching their heads, SWAT finds a hidden escape route not on the building's blueprints. In the hallway, they spot 4 black outfits, proof the robbers changed and slipped away. Worse, their armored truck, Black Betty, is gone too. Luca, Betty's driver, is gutted, especially when he sees the tracker ripped off and tossed on the ground. Commander Hicks nearly has a stroke when he hears the news. Luca swears he locked the truck and kept the keys on him, so how did the robbers jack it? Turns out, the week before, during a fake 911 call, the robbers used a device to snap a picture of Luca's keys while he was on duty. If they use Black Betty for a killing spree or smuggling Luca's toast for negligence. After digging up the suspect's IDs and address, Hondo and Deacon raid their hideout, but it's empty except for 4 blankets matching the robbers' numbers and a map on the wall, likely their next target. Then, a knock at the door.
Cover!
Guns drawn. It's a tense standoff. Lucky for them, Hondo recognizes the Fed Jackie, an old friend averting a shootout. After catching up, they compare notes. Hondo spills about the Black Betty theft, but Jackie clams up, saying it's federal business and can't be shared. Still, she offers to team up with SWAT to crack the case. Trouble is, Hicks and Jackie have history. They competed for the same SWAT spot years ago, but Hicks picked Hondo, a guy, over Jackie. Despite her superior skills, women in SWAT, they've got it rough. Hicks never expected Jackie to step up and help recover Black Betty, and he genuinely apologizes for the past. But the peace doesn't last. The robbers, posing as SWAT in Black Betty, strut into Westpac Bank, claim there's a bomb threat, clear the place out, and snag the manager's keys. Thankfully, the real SWAT shows up fast. Using the map from the robbers' hideout, they pegged Westpac as the next hit, but Black Betty's a fortress on wheels. SWAT's no match for it. Inside the bank, the crew finishes the heist. As the last guy heads for the truck, Hondo drops him with a clean shot. The others, they floor it in Black Betty, leaving their buddy behind. Luca's freaking out, this is his last shot to save his truck. Jackie's blocking the truck's path but doesn't budge as Black Betty speeds off. Hondo and Hicks are pissed, and Hicks regrets his apology. A call to Jackie's bosses reveals she's gone rogue, no orders, just her own agenda. Even under pressure, she won't spill. Finally, cornered by Hondo and Hicks, Jackie comes clean. She's secretly tracking Varner, a terrorist tied to international bombings. One of the robbers, McCabe, is Varner's lackey, and she thinks Varner's the mastermind. This isn't just a bank heist, it's something bigger. The FBI shelved the case as too risky, and Jackie, with her unfriendly demeanor and the Bureau's bias against female agents, got sidelined. Though SWAT's furious, Jackie's got better leads, so they grudgingly let her join the interrogation of the captured robber. It's a home run. When the crook hears he's facing the FBI, he freaks. Under Hicks and Jackie's relentless pressure and mind games, the captured crook cracks. He's just a hired gun, clueless about the mastermind, but he spills the meet-up spot for the crew post-heist. Meanwhile, terrorist Varner is gloating over Black Betty and a box they risked everything to nab from Westpac Bank. Inside, yellowcake uranium. McCabe, cursing under his breath. Varner laughs him off. Idiot, at this stage, it's harmless, less radiation than a commercial flight. But grind it up, pack it into explosives, and it'll unleash hell. Before they can celebrate, SWAT storms in, and all hell breaks loose. The real SWAT outclasses the fake SWAT posers in no time. One imposter goes down, another's nabbed on the spot. Varner's crew folds even faster, tilting the fight heavily in SWAT's favor. Varner and McCabe try to peel out, but Luca's done playing nice. Sorry, Betty. He slaps a .50 caliber armor-piercing round into his Barrett and nails the engine. Black Betty grinds to a halt. Luca exhales, and the two crooks in the truck are cuffed. But it's not over. Jackie heads to her bosses to claim credit, only to get nothing. FBI hands all the glory to SWAT. Defeated, she leaves an apology and walks away. In the hallway, she runs into Hondo, ever the smooth talker. You're a damn good SWAT officer, just in a different uniform. If you were on our team, you might have taken my job. No, Hondo, no one could replace you. The action shifts to a new case. A real estate groundbreaking ceremony turns into a nightmare when four thugs storm in, taking everyone hostage. Anyone who resists gets a bullet on the spot. To make a statement, they smash everyone's phones but spare the cameraman. They want the TV spotlight to go viral. Their message: anyone stealing their land will face their wrath. The real estate suits push back. Truth is, the locals didn't want to leave. The government forced them out with eviction orders, leaving them no choice. But a few, like Miguel, are fighting back against the injustice. Right then, a veteran patrol cop hears gunfire and rolls up. Before he can radio in, the thugs gun him down cold. The crew speeds up their plan. They hunt for explosives to blast the mountain and use shipping containers to trap the real estate bigwigs. But before they can set the timer on their homemade bomb, LAPD and SWAT arrive. The thugs use the terrain to their advantage, forcing two cop cars to fall back. They even know how to neutralize SWAT's blast-proof rig. SWAT's pinned outside the containers, waiting for the flames to die down. The bomb's ready, ticking down from 60 seconds. The thugs bolt, and SWAT chooses to save the hostages over giving chase.
Cover your ears!
SWAT doesn't need much to ID the culprits. Hicks recognizes Miguel's eyes and voice. 3 years ago, Hicks was indirectly tied to Miguel's dad's death, and their family home burned down. Miguel's out for revenge. The crew strikes again, kidnapping a city councilman who greenlit the evictions. They douse his house in gasoline, but before lighting the match, they kindly tell him it's payback for stealing their land. I'm sorry, I was just doing my job. It's all legal. Legal doesn't mean right. Mid-plan, one thug gets greedy, sneaking to the safe for cash. SWAT storms in, and the guy ditches his crew, grabbing the money and running only to get gunned down by surrounding officers. They nab another thug alive. After a tense interrogation, his clues lead to a female accomplice, Miguel's girlfriend. She stonewalls, refusing to give up Miguel's location, stalling SWAT at every turn. That night, Hicks gets home, stashes his gun and badge, and pours a drink while taking a call about the interrogation. He doesn't notice Miguel standing in front of him, pistol aimed at his head. Before hanging up, Hicks slips a coded signal to Hondo, who instantly knows Hicks is in trouble and races over with the team. Cornered, Hicks doesn't flinch. He cranks up a Bluetooth speaker, distracting Miguel. "You're not getting out of this, old man." Hicks, weaponless but sharp, uses a nearby mirror to his advantage in a brutal brawl. Age catches up, and Miguel overpowers him, shoving him into a pool. But Hicks, tough as nails, turns the tables, pinning the younger, stronger Miguel. Just then, Hondo and the team burst in. "Still got it, Commander." The chaos doesn't end. A $0 shopping trend, mobs of teens looting malls and scattering, has spiraled out of control, stirring up bad press. Brass sends SWAT to clean it up. Cooperative looters get a trip to the station. Resistors get a rubber bullet. One guy, though, is stubbornly defiant. He didn't steal anything but acts terrified of the cops, refusing to surrender even at gunpoint. What's he hiding? A gut punch. A mall employee is found dead on the floor, near where Deacon fired his rubber rounds. "Maybe I hit her. It looks like his shot went through a wall and struck her, but it's not certain. They'll need ballistics to confirm." Even as a seasoned SWAT veteran, Deacon's rattled. A black woman, unarmed, killed by a white SWAT officer. If that's true, it'll spark a firestorm in the press. Per protocol, Deacon hands over his weapon and is sidelined pending the ballistics report. While waiting, he's haunted by worst-case scenarios, each one gnawing at him. Thankfully, Deacon's in the clear. The real killer was a masked gunman, already dead, and there's a bigger secret lurking behind the murder. Deacon takes a moment to steady himself, then vows to dig deeper to get justice for the slain store clerk. The masked gunmen, 4 of them, used the mall heist chaos as cover to assassinate the clerk, but why target an ordinary employee? After a grueling search, SWAT tracks down the clerk's second home, where they find a Chinese woman living there. She bolts at the sight of them, running like she's seen a ghost. Cornered with nowhere left to go, she realizes they're cops, not security guards, and breathes a sigh of relief. Her story unravels. She escaped from an illegal sweatshop, lured to the U.S. with promises of big money. She was trapped in a factory, sewing clothes from dawn to dusk, eating and sleeping on site. 4 guards watched 8 workers, keeping them locked in. After escaping, she wandered the streets until the kind-hearted clerk took her in. But the sweatshop owners were ruthless. They killed her savior to silence her. The sweatshop relocated after her escape, but she remembers the clothing brand they produced, a shady label run by a designer notorious for stealing designs and shady dealings. When SWAT confronts the designer, she panics, flushing her phone down the toilet to warn her accomplices to move the remaining 7 workers. During interrogation, she plays dumb, insisting she's innocent. SWAT knows they'll eventually find the sweatshop, but time's running out. Any delay could mean losing the workers for good. With no other choice, the cops cut a deal. If they catch the sweatshop's operator and rescue the workers, the designer walks free. It's a sweet deal for her. SWAT moves fast, nabbing the criminals before they can relocate the workers, rescuing 6 from a van. The 7th is held hostage by the sweatshop's boss. When he learns the designer sold him out, he flips. She's the mastermind. Why are you arresting me? In the end, he takes the fall, while the designer struts out of the station scot-free. Though she escapes justice, saving all the workers makes SWAT's effort worthwhile. The scene shifts to a shady U.S. rehab center. A drug dealer brags about his glorious recovery, charming the crowd except for Tim, who's seething, hand on a hidden gun. Tim's here for revenge. This dealer hooked his late brother on drugs, leading to his death. Tim vows to kill everyone who ruined his brother's life. Please, I've got a kid, my brother was just a kid too. After the kill, Tim flees to hunt his next target. Security cameras catch him, and cops quickly ID him. Tim's been hitting up rehab support groups, scoping out his enemies. SWAT sweeps every facility and spots his black car. But as 2 officers enter one center, gunshots ring out upstairs. It's Tim. He bolts to the highway, hijacks a passing car, and peels out, leaving SWAT in the dust. Tim's next target is a seaside rehab center, a cash cow that thrives on repeat addicts. Unlike legit clinics, this place lets patients relapse. When their insurance runs dry, they're kicked out, only to return when coverage kicks back in. The cycle: addiction, rehab, recovery, relapse keeps the money flowing. Tim confronts the owner. You scum, you drag people back here, trapping them in a loop of rehab and relapse, all for your dirty money. Tim spares the owner, moving on to his next mark, his brother's high school basketball coach. The coach, a suck-up, cut Tim's brother from the team to favor a rich kid, sending the boy into a depression that led to drugs. Tim blames him as the root cause. Just as he's about to strike, SWAT rolls in. Tim hijacks a team bus headed to a game, holding everyone hostage. The bus has tinted windows, blocking outside views. By lowering the front windshield curtain, he neutralizes even snipers. To stall Tim, cops disable the bus's emergency switch and call the coach, pretending to negotiate while buying time. They slip a tiny camera inside, pinpointing Tim and the hostages, and draft a plan. Every option risks casualties, making it a tough call. Then, a break. A therapist sends a video of Tim's brother, recorded before his death. They show it to Tim, seeing his brother alive, talking about his rehab journey. Tim's lost in memories, his guard down. SWAT seizes the moment. They stealthily climb onto the bus roof, pop the overhead window, toss a flashbang, and drop in beside Tim, subduing him in seconds. A robbery crew targets seniors over 60. Today's their 3rd hit. A trembling elderly woman opens her safe, but the robbers ignore the cash, grabbing a small bag instead. The ringleader insists on killing her to tie up loose ends, terrifying her. Just then, a security guard, alerted by her emergency bracelet, shows up. Both the guard and the woman are gunned down. By the time the cops arrive, the robbers are long gone. But these bold crooks don't stop. They hit another family's home. This time, they bite off more than they can chew, as SWAT's on a nearby mission. When SWAT storms in, they find an old man calmly reloading his gun. Turns out, the robbers picked the wrong target. The old guy shot one of them and scared 2 others off. Too bad the bag in the safe is already gone. SWAT sweeps the house and finds the wounded robber hiding in the shed. They gift him a stinger, a rubber bullet. Lucky for him, it wasn't live ammo, or he'd be meeting his maker. The other two got away, but SWAT recovers the bag. The robbers didn't touch the cash, they were after rare coins inside. Including the 3 prior hits, the total haul's worth $1.8 million. Digging deeper, SWAT learns all 3 victims used safes from a brand owned by Telluride, a dealer in rare metals. All 4 victims were his clients, putting Telluride in the hot seat. But the real culprit is his cousin, fresh out of prison. The cousin came to Telluride for a job but scoffed at low-wage work. Instead, he stole Telluride's laptop, which had a client list. He targeted those over 60 for his heists. SWAT sets up protection for the remaining elderly clients on the list, but the robber doesn't strike. Turns out, he switched to richer targets, wealthy businessmen, also on the list. He's planning a big score to set himself up for life. But as he looks up, SWAT's closing in on the mansion. Panicked, he grabs a chest and bolts, leaving his crew dumbfounded. SWAT anticipated the switch to high rollers and got ahead of him. Cornered, Telluride's cousin takes the homeowner hostage and holes up in the garage, where 2 large safes sit. The contents aren't super valuable, but they're enough to buy him time. SWAT surrounds the garage. Let me take the gold and go. That's not your gold. Using a tracker, Tan pinpoints the robber's position. They can't bust in directly, but a teammate outside quietly raises the garage door from behind. As it creeps up, the cousin realizes he's being hit from both sides too late. The action jumps to a bigger case. LAPD SWAT teams up with the DEA to bust a small-time drug ring, but it's not what it seems. This crew's not just peddling drugs, they're trafficking military-grade weapons, way beyond a small outfit's reach. In the raid, Luca nabs Marcos, a SWAT informant, and his pregnant cousin. They were just packing up her stuff but got caught in the sweep. Before Marcos can explain, a car screeches in, drawing everyone's attention. The driver, Marcos' cousin's husband, is bleeding out, missing 3 fingers. He drops a bombshell. A Mexican drug lord is coming to LA for a deal. No wonder this small crew was stockpiling firepower, a war's brewing. To get answers, Luca offers Marcos a deal. His cousin was caught with a gun linked to a robbery 8 years ago. But she was only 12 at the time, clearly not involved. Still, if convicted, she faces 15 years. Marcos spills everything he knows about the drug trade. The LA crew was working with the Mexican cartel, but 2 days ago, they lost a $3 million drug shipment, pissing off Mexico and sparking today's mess. Here's the kicker: the DEA stole the $3 million stash. They told SWAT this was a routine bust, but it was a setup to pit the LA crew against the Mexicans, hoping to take down both. The plan backfired, no one's caught, and now the Mexican lord's son, Ulan, has landed in the U.S. Ulan's making a deal with Marcos' cousin, who's trying to pay back the $3 million on her husband's behalf. But she's short on cash, and Ulan's 2 goons aren't here to talk. LAPD SWAT, drop your weapons. SWAT tracks her down just in time, nabbing Ulan's top lieutenants. Marcos and his cousin are a handful, and there's a bigger secret. The baby she's carrying isn't her husband's, it's Ulan's, Marcos' sworn enemy. Only Marcos knows. To save his cousin, Marcos agrees to work as a full-time informant, using the baby secret to lure Ulan out. In exchange, the cops put her in witness protection and keep her isolated in jail for safety, otherwise, she's a dead woman. Deal struck. Marcos calls Ulan's crew, setting a time and place. Marcos shows up on time, but only 2 of Ulan's goons arrive. Ulan's a no-show. They pat him down thoroughly. Marcos plays pissed, saying his cousin just wants to tell Ulan he's got a son. The goons call Ulan to confirm, revealing their meetup spot, but one finds a wire on Marcos. Busted. Marcos shouts the panic code, but helps too far. He's on his own. SWAT crashes in just in time, grabbing the goon's phone and pulling Ulan's number to track him. Meanwhile, Ulan's with his crew, teaching an LA drug runner's family a lesson. He's brutal, sparing no one. As Ulan's about to burn his victims alive, SWAT and the DEA swoop in just in time. A few quick moves take out his goons, but Ulan slips away. A DEA agent thinks he's got him. Ulan's hiding in the closet. I see him. You don't see Jack. Hondo drops Ulan with a clean shot, saving the agent, but the story's far from over. Remember Marcos' cousin, held in solitary? Out of nowhere, he's moved to Gen Pop. In prison, snitches are the lowest of the low. When the inmates learn he's working with the cops, they pounce. Heard you were chatting with the police this morning, getting special treatment, huh? Let's see if they save you now. Meanwhile, Marcos helps SWAT wrap up the operation and, per their deal, walks free. His cousin should have been up for an appeal too. But then, the DIA chief pulls SWAT aside with grim news: Marco's cousin was killed in jail. Luca's floored, thinking the DEA's sloppy as hell. When the DIA breaks the news to Marcos, he's shattered. You said she'd be safe. You killed her. Marcos may never trust cops again. But the real drama's just starting. Mexican drug lord Sancho, learning his son Ulan was killed by LA SWAT, vows personal revenge. How will SWAT and the DIA handle him? One DEA agent, who jogs 10 kilometers every morning, gets a bad vibe today and cuts his run short. Good call. When he gets home, Sancho's waiting, ready to settle the score. The agent figures it's just one thug, easy to handle, but he's dead wrong. This is Sancho, untouchable. No amount of hand-to-hand skills saves him. He's backing up, terrified. Sancho risked coming to LA, because SWAT and the DIA took his beloved son. Killing the agent is just his opening salvo. Next up, Boyle, the DIA chief, fresh from playing soccer with his youngest son. Boyle's veteran instincts scream he's being targeted. He hustles his kid into the car. Keep your head down. Grabbing his pistol from a lockbox, he's outgunned by heavy firepower. Just as he's about to go down, SWAT rolls in. They found the dead agent's body earlier and pieced together Sancho's revenge plot. A surprise attack from behind takes out two shooters, nearly letting the driver escape until they realize the car's tires aren't bulletproof. Knowing Sancho won't stop, Hondo writes his death letter, a SWAT tradition where every member keeps a note in their locker for loved ones, just in case. As the one who killed Ulan, Hondo's letter carries extra weight. At the same time, Jim and Luca meet Marcos to sign a new deal. For helping take down Ulan, Marcos deserves a payout, but he double-crosses them, luring them into a trap. Jim takes shrapnel, losing his fighting edge, and they retreat to an abandoned factory. Marcos doesn't follow. Sancho kidnapped Marco's surviving cousin, demanding Hondo the man who killed Ulan in exchange. The death of Marco's other cousin in jail, indirectly caused by SWAT, pushed him to betray them. Ungrateful bastard, regretting his trust. The trio splits up. Marcos reunites with his cousin as planned, but Sancho reneges on freeing them. Deep in the factory, Jim's bleeding out, even hiding in the electrical room. They're soon spotted, but their ready SWAT training makes quick work of one drug runner. Another shows up. Luca flanks him, taking him out. Realizing they can't stay, they move. The rescue team arrives, fast roping down the factory chimney to stay stealthy. By the time Sancho's crew notices, it's too late. The fight tips hard in SWAT's favor. Escaping, Luca and Jim spot Marcos, tied up. Despite his betrayal, they cut him loose and split up. Marcos gets the wounded Jim to safety, while Luca draws Sancho's crew away solo. It's a solid plan until it isn't. Marcos and Jim link up with SWAT, but Luca's nabbed by Sancho. Hondo steps up, offering himself for his teammate. Sancho's a snake. He keeps Luca and plans to take both hostages on his plane. Big mistake underestimating SWAT. They've got a high-skill shot, 3 members firing simultaneously to neutralize the target and save the hostages. It demands perfect sync. One slip, and it's over. As the plane preps for takeoff, Tan can't get a clean shot, fuming. Out of nowhere, Boyle, who climbed onto a rooftop, takes his place. One shot misses the new female SWAT officers too green, but Hondo, saving Luca and dropping Sancho. That's the full rundown of SWAT Season 6. Want us to keep summarizing future seasons? Drop a comment below and let us know. If enough of you are hyped, we'll dive into the next one. Thanks for following along. See you next time.